podcast from the Green Room Studio. We are a go.
I do want to talk about some of the work that you're doing now, specifically with Pablo Bica here in the local St. Pete area. So you have coffee kava socials every month. I just kind of want to share that. There's a video that brings it all together, but if we could show that, I thought that'd be nice to talk about.
Absolutely. I was inspired to start the Coffee Kava Social because I was being censored on all platforms, and they always joke around, you can't take a Sharpie out of Laura's hand. Like, if there's not a Sharpie, there's a whiteboard by me, because if we're still able to connect in real time, in real life, and share information in real time, we can save the Republic, and we can grow in strength, and we can share knowledge openly, and we can grow as a grassroots movement, or whatever people want to call it. But it's understanding that all it takes is your neighbors. All it takes is getting friends, and we just happen to have the common thread of we're all military. We just happen to all believe, there is a better way to live, and we can focus on solutions that work. And we don't have to specifically and only focus on suicide. We can focus on starting a business together. We can focus on podcasts. We can focus on a multitude of avenues that empower veterans and believe in veterans. So I always it was started because of censorship, and the antidote is always strong community.
Absolutely, 100% agree. So let's go ahead and take a break real quick and check out the video.
Yes.
And we'll be back.
Thanks.
Yep.
Nurse Laura and I, we connected and we ended up having the same mission. Mission is to serve veterans and bring awareness and educate them.
Pablo is the founder of the Veterans Education Tour. I am, without question, when I heard the work that he was doing and aspiring to do, jumped on board and was like, I want to partner with you. How can we collaborate? And we both co-founded the Coffee Kava Social.
Coffee Kava Social for Veterans, which has
You guys had
been
a lot
going
of
on
people
for
that
8 months, and it's been like beyond my expectation. Like, it's
We
just
had
been
75
blowing up.
people at our
All the
last
people,
social.
veterans. I mean,
Wow.
last event we had 24 new
I mean, how do you fit them all?
veterans and family members that came to
You
the
can't
event.
stop the
We do
inertia
host
from it.
Coffee
People
Kava
want community.
Socials every second Thursday here at one of the wellness centers that I consult at.
So that means we're
got
creating
destroyed
awareness, and
during the
people are
storm,
actually
but
looking for
What?
this type of services,
No
more
way.
holistic and mental health stuff.
I'm sorry to hear that. So, I mean, where are you guys having it? Or, I mean, is it back up and running, or is it still?
It's not, to be honest. We're pivoting, and I think we're pivoting to a podcast right now, because the movement was there. The people want community.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys had a lot going on between the vendors. I feel so. Like, what's going on with that? What's the plan?
Last month was canceled because the Thursday the second hurricane hit the beach. We had 3 feet of water during the first Hurricane Milton, or Hurricane Helene that came through. We had 3 feet inside the wellness center, inside of it. So I had 7 days between storms, and I rallied the troops. I gutted it out. I cut everything out of the walls. Like, this is what we do. We're here for each other. The second storm took part of the roof off on the other side of our building, so it's raining on half of the building, and on our side we were protected. We only had 2 parts of the ceiling actually fall in, but it wasn't as completely catastrophically destroyed like the other side of our building was. And I was living at my father's house at the time, and we've had tremendous damage down there. So I have stepped away, or last month we stepped away, and I'm not sure if we're going to take a sabbatical or if we're going to find a new location for this. It's November 14th, if we're going to find a new location, or if we're going to pivot to a virtual Coffee Kava Social. Those are our options right now, and we're adapting. We're going to build community wherever we are, and you can't. That's why I get really emotional when I see that, because you pour into something, and you know the power of community, and you know the power of believing in people, and people wanted to be there. Like, it was for the community, for the information, for alternative medicine, for cannabis, and to be able to pull 75 people together. If I can build it before, I can build it again. Like, if we've built it before, we can build it again. The community is showing us they're virtue signaling what they want.
So, I mean, as far as like, how soon do you think the center will be built back up? Have they said anything about that?
Even if we, like, the functional nurse in me,
Mm-hmm.
if there's mold in a building, I'm not
Is that
comfortable. I'm not comfortable hosting a coffee cup of social there. So yeah, I can't. Our common ground at the center right now is non-toxic air. Until I know that there's not toxic air, that's a really, really hard decision for me to make.
Now, I mean, when I went, right, I thought, and it was Isla who brought me the first time. And when I saw you there, it was interesting to see some familiar face. I saw Dr. Garcia. He was talking to everyone, and I had met Pablo. And I thought it was a really cool space of veterans, and just you had different alternative medicine booths, people sharing what they had. So I'm hoping that somebody will help as far as putting something like together to fill the gap. Try to keep that momentum. I know it's hard to, right? And then I'm hoping, I don't know, I mean, virtual social sounds like a good temporary, right?
Last month I had no option except to cancel. That was the day the storm came. So like that was an honest no. As far as what's happening it's Veterans Week, it's Marine Corps birthday, then it's Veterans Day, and then it's that week we're supposed to have our social. It's what do we do?
So, I mean, luckily Tampa didn't get hit, but I know St. Pete got destroyed, right? I think a lot of people don't realize like that people are still struggling, like you said, the mold, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went and stayed at one of my friend's house. I was doing a CPR certification at the center, and I was just going to have the lady meet me outside. I'm like, we'll do it on the concrete table. I just wanted to go be at the center because I actually lived down south of Venice, and it was we had 16-foot surges. And at our local coffee store, we lost 2 locals that weren't even able to evacuate. And like that's the harsh reality down there. And when I went to St. Pete Beach, I stayed at one of my friend's house because he lives on the island, and this is always just what I did before. And it was almost like as if 3 weeks out, I was almost back in a state of normalcy. I'm out of shock. I'm in the grieving process. And I went and saw him and his girlfriend, and they're still both checked out, just not in executive thinking. And I was just like, when you're removed from it, it can be triggering for PTSD. You drive around, it looks like a war zone. And it's when you see people that, there's a reason in nursing that 2 of our evaluation questions for PTSD symptoms are, have you served in a combat zone or have you survived a natural disaster? Because both of them immediately qualify for the PTSD assessment, and therefore you immediately qualify for cannabis card to understand like that's the reality. So when you see people like in this deep suffering of humanity and they don't know, like they're still in the instant coffee mode, they're still in the eat the MRE mode because they have power on, but everything's destroyed, and to be able to start over, it's like this beautiful gift that the military had trained me. I love change and starting over because you go to a new, you transfer to a new station, you meet new people, but it's like you know who you are, and you're confident in your work, and you're confident in your skill set, you can go anywhere. But then you see people like this is their entire lives. Like I had 2 suicide calls last week from our Coffee Kava social. One of them was like I went in home and did a home assessment. The other one, it's people's inability. That's why now more than ever they do need a social. They do need a place to commune, because when we're struggling is when we reach out. When we're like, my shit's not together right now, I'm not okay right now, that's when you reach out. That's when you're like, it's like, we'll figure it out together. Let's bring some food, let's get some coffee, let's get kava, whatever you want, we'll figure it out.